21-year-old Jess from Florida has dedicated her life to living with her boyfriend as a baby. She says she wears diapers but only pees in them, no poo-poo.
I don't know, like, that's just too far for me.
Right, because rolling around in a nappy while pissing yourself is perfectly within the bounds of normality.
For me, there is nothing sexual about my age play or anything like that.
Really? Is that why your YouTube header image is you with your legs spread wide open with the camera centered on your crotch? No, that's not sexual at all.
They call me a pedophile. Age play is not sexually stimulating to me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, right. So it's not a sexual thing, but the official terms for what you get up to are daddy dominant / little girl, adult baby diaper love, and age play. All subsects of BDSM, which for those who don't know, stands for bondage, dominance, submission, and sadomasochism. Yep, nothing sexual about that.
I think all kinds of people watch my videos for different intentions or purposes.
Pedophiles. Jess says that living as a baby is a way of dealing with her being sexually abused as a child, but admits that she would probably have chosen the lifestyle anyway. Okay, two things here. One, the fact that adult babies are even a thing is part of the regressive left's demented attempt to normalise pedophilia as a legitimate alternative sexual preference. Remember this middle-aged freak who abandoned his wife and 7 kids to live as a 6-year-old girl. You may laugh, but many on the left celebrated Stephanie Walsh as a brave icon for the transgender community. Remember Todd Nickerson, the wannabe child molester who has a regular platform with Salon.com, who illustrated him talking about masturbating over a 5-year-old girl by romanticising it with dreamy footage of a child dancing and twirling, who continue to give Nickerson a platform despite him admitting he would, quote, engage in sex play with a child if she wanted it and initiated it.
Because their agenda here is sabotage. It started out maybe as creative destruction. Let's tear it down and then rebuild society in our own image. But now it's just, you know what, screw rebuilding. Let's just blow it up.
And secondly, baby Jess has her colouring book. But colouring books aimed at adults are now a thing. They're marketed as stress relievers. In reality, this is one aspect of a wider trend, the infantilization of society as a whole. Social media has had the effect of creating this endless compulsion for validation, regressing us back to the mindset we had as toddlers. The baby's narcissistic need for someone to constantly reassure it that it exists. According to leading neuroscientist and professor of synaptic pharmacology at Lincoln College, Oxford, Lady Greenfield, social media is exacerbating short attention spans, narcissism, and the inability to empathize, all traits associated with infants. We're creating drug addicts who are so addicted to screen time that they devote zero effort to forming their characters in the real world. This leads to a constant state of identity crisis, which is why we see this explosion of young people identifying as all kinds of nebulous and bizarre things. We're being trapped in a state of permanent adolescence. Thanks to social media, young people's brains are being rewired. You've now got grown men and women walking off cliffs trying to catch animated Pokemon characters, for God's sake. You've got adults wanting to suck on dummies, piss in diapers, and pretend they're babies. In the decadent late stages of a society, bizarre and aberrant behaviour becomes commonplace. So commonplace that the mass media and many on the left embrace and promote it as normal.
And I found, okay, in my study, that history is cyclic. And everywhere in the world, you find this pattern, okay, in ancient times, that as a culture begins to decline, you have an efflorescence, okay, of transgender phenomena, okay? That is a symptom of cultural collapse. So rather than people singing the praises of humanitarian liberalism, okay, that allows all of these transgender possibilities, okay, to appear and to be encouraged, I would be concerned about how Western culture is defining itself to the world.
As another example, a top professor of clinical psychiatry even said, that this woman having someone pour drain cleaner in her eyes so she could become blind was an ethical way of treating her condition. Yes, we've always had humans behaving bizarrely, but we've never seen it endorsed by the dominant culture and the establishment to this degree. This is cultural Marxism. This is Brave New World. They're literally teaching young people that wearing nappies and drooling is something that should be respected. This adult baby's insanity is another example of how our brains are being infantilized by social media, and how political correctness is normalizing and validating mental illness. The real adults have truly left the room.